Welcome back to Season 7, Episode 3 of Teed Up, where everyone's a sports expert.
A podcast that makes students care about sports.
We are an original podcast created and produced by Long Beach State's student-run newspaper, The Long Beach Current.
I'm Brandon Rodriguez.
And I'm Gianna Echeverria. Today we have Jacob Sensi, Beach Vision, NFL Network, Dodger Vision, Game On Entertainment, and previously worked with the LA Angels. Ran through your resume real quick, but I'm really excited to dive into this with you because you have a very interesting job that I feel like sports fans overlook sometimes. So I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun. But thank you for joining us.
No, of course.
If you don't mind telling the audience what you currently do and what you're currently up to.
So currently full-time for Long Beach State. I run the Beach Vision broadcasting program, which I started off as a student in 2018. The total sports we do are basketball, volleyball, soccer. We're currently bringing back water polo hopefully next season. Sorry, I'm blanking on all the sports because there's just so much content going on right now. Right now we're in the midst of our baseball season with the Dirtbags, and then our basketball is just wrapping up, and it's just so much content going on. We have 6+ cameras per stream, replay graphics. Our primary software is Ross Video, which is a Canadian broadcast company, and their products are fantastic. They're so useful, and there's so many tutorials online. So, I'm just employing my students to utilize this software as much as they can. And, it's not a great summary, obviously, but to summarize, it is, a student and part-time world of freelancers who work with Beach Vision. A lot of them were students as well, like myself.
Right.
I've worked with people for over 5 to 6 years, some 7, who have been with the program since 2015, and they don't want to leave because they know how special it is. Like it's just like it's not like a family. It is somewhat of a family because we've all known each other for so long. We've seen how the program has changed for the better, for the worse, but mostly better, obviously. And it's just been a great journey, and I'm excited to be a part of it in the current time because we're only getting better and better. And seems like everyone's having a good time as well in the crew. So we'll just keep pushing for more creative content.
Can't be mad when there's crew love.
That's true.
For sure. I've always heard million good things about Beach Vision. So yeah, it's super exciting to have you on. And I just wanted to ask, what led you down the path of broadcast production, and just what kind of, is this what you dreamed of from an early stage? And walk us through that.
I think in high school I had sort of a slight experience of broadcasting. It was simply a DSLR on a press box for football with one laptop and a professor who, I don't know, he wasn't the best, I guess, to provide, because obviously the equipment was available. You go to a public school, you don't really have the opportunity to do broadcasting. All students I work with, I ask, do you have experience? They go, no. I go, I don't care, because you're not going to get it unless you go to a private school, most likely, which is obviously rare. Initially, I went into the film program because I thought I wanted to do something with film. And then my friend Jackie, who we spoke about earlier, she found a flyer on the floor, and she texted me a photo. She was, hey, well, check this out. This looks pretty cool. And it said Beach Vision internship, and it was the beginning of Beach Vision in 2018. So it was strictly in-house. There was no broadcasting. And she goes, check it out. I'm like, all right, cool. So I interview and I get accepted immediately, which is great. And I guess I just kind of thought, okay, this is pretty interesting. I'm doing sports environment and I'm doing film. Maybe I'll decide which one I want to do. I'll figure it out. And then it just switched immediately. As soon as you started broadcasting, I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I want to be.
Totally.
It's just a totally different world. I mean, film and broadcasting are very similar. There's a lot of downtime, and then when you're live, you're going. Right. But and it's a very small world. I'm assuming you guys, if you do work in the film industry, you know everybody. You literally know everybody.
Right.
If you think you don't know somebody from one department, somebody from somebody knows you, and they can obviously give you a good referral, or they can say something worse, which you don't want to hear, obviously. No, don't burn bridges.
Right.
But I just stuck with the program for, how many years is that now? This is 7 years. For 7 years and 4 or 5 months. I have to do the exact month. It's on my. I got to check my LinkedIn. But I worked with multiple people who took over the program, and I had a bunch of mentors. One who currently works at USC, 2 actually both work at USC in their broadcast department, and they're always a great source. I contact them all the time asking for guidance, help. Another great source who now does the UC San Diego broadcast department. Another one who went to the UCLA broadcast department. So all these great people from Long Beach started here, and they spread out all across Southern California, and some have gone even further. So it just tells you that like if you're a part of this, you can go anywhere. You know, the sky's the limit, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right. Like you said, you started to intern back in 2018, which is crazy because it feels close, but it's so long
it's
ago.
really
yeah.
close. It really is.
But you mentioned that Beach Vision and the team had something special. Could you like elaborate on that? Like, kind of mentioning what is the change? I mean, you've kind of been there, you've seen so much evolution of this program, right? Like,
Yeah.
how does it come to fruition? How is it so special now?
I would say it's not only the equipment, obviously the upgrade of equipment from Stream, specifically in-house. Our Panasonics were upgraded to Hitachis.
Oh, right.
For those who are familiar with this equipment or not, it's just simply we're minimizing the amount of equipment we need for one specific position, whether you need an XLR for audio, SDI for video, now and power. Now you have one cable that does all three. You have a clear comm communication with 4 channels, so you can talk to your cameras by themselves, you can talk to a producer by yourselves, you can talk to your graphics by themselves, you can talk to talent using the IFB we have in place. So we've just I guess created more opportunity to be more creative in that sense. And not only that, but I guess the humbling beginning of not having this equipment to then have it, it's a very humbling experience. You're very appreciative. So we treat the equipment with care and respect, and it's just I guess the special part would be, again, like the people who started off from the beginning. They know what it was like before. They know what we have now. So we know like it can only get better.
Right.
You know, we're not going to stop until it's the best it can be. And right now, we're constantly thinking of new ideas, new innovative ways to create new ideas that make our athletics look better. I just recently started instituting the Big West Live segments where I got approval from ESPN. Of course, you got to get approval. You can't just do things. Never just do things.
Of course.
So I said, hey, I want to show other broadcasts live while we're live. It's called a PIP. It's a picture-in-picture. And I programmed an animation on our switcher to shrink our program feed to the right corner, expand an ESPN Plus stream out of literally just like, I go on a browser on my computer and I type in UC Santa Barbara versus UC Davis women's basketball at 6 p.m. And I display the broadcast and I press live and the TD presses the button, it shrinks our screen, expands the other stream so you can simply watch their stream and our stream simultaneously and then re-expand back to ours. And I got that inspiration from Red Zone. I was working at the NFL. I was like, okay, they do this. Obviously, they have direct links to every stream.
Right.
I have a PC and a Chrome browser.
And a dream. Right.
And a dream.
So I can only do one at a time. But it is, in a sense, very similar to what they're doing. So it was very exciting to see it happen. And it's literally the beginning of first stages. But
That's really cool.
I guess like just having the equipment, I can customize and build new things to have these, ideas come to fruition, I guess. So.
That's so sick.
And is it easy to like communicate these ideas with ESPN and really get them into fruition?
We have monthly meetings, and like they're all really nice to reach out to. They're obviously a great company to work with. So, any like honestly, like most schools will just our sole purpose is just broadcast, like get the content out, show the athletes, and then all the creative aspect that's not required. So schools that do put in the extra work, it's because they want to. They want to push themselves, if that makes sense. So if you ever see something on a broadcast, like a specific segment that doesn't have a sponsor, for us, we have like our In-N-Out sponsor. We have That's It, granola bar, a couple other places. We used to have Naples Rib Company. Or they're not a broadcast sponsor currently, but they were last year. I contacted their owner. I was like, hey, you're our sponsor. I love your ribs. Can I come to your restaurant and film you guys in the kitchen cooking for your segment? Say, this broadcast is brought to you by Naples Rib Company. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was in the back with the chef and the manager, and I had my Osmo, and I was walking around just getting footage of ribs and food. And I cut it all together, and they're like, all right, great, that was awesome. You want food? You hungry? And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. And they gave me like this whole party plaque, and I'm like, okay.
No way.
Because I wanted an idea, I reached out. I got free food out of it. I was like, this is great.
Ribs
I want to
at
keep. So there's I guess work, and then there's reward, and there was a nice reward there because I fed myself and a couple friends some ribs. But I guess like the small things like that, that will show you a appreciation and award, for your work. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
That's so sick. Obviously, your internship very much resonated with you. I mean, you're here now. You spoke on some of your mentors, but you've grown from an intern to now being someone who teaches and educates other students as well.
Right.
What for you is rewarding about that? Or if it's not, like, what do you try to implement on your interns now?
Well, my aunt, she's a teacher. My
Uh-huh.
cousin's a teacher. And I always said to myself, like, I wonder, like, if I'll ever, I said, I was like, I'm not going to be a teacher. I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity to.
Mhm.
And halfway through, I'm like, wait a minute, all I'm doing is teaching now. That's literally all I'm doing. And I learned, like, from my different mentors, the best ways to teach. There is the tell you how you did it wrong aspect, and then show you how to do it right aspect. And I guess to not hurt, or because when a student's doing something they've never done before, it's not like just doing math homework. This is something very specific with a specific piece of equipment, and if they make a mistake, you have to confirm, okay, here's what you did wrong, let's fix it, let's work on it, let's keep going. If it keeps happening, we'll try to move you in a different position. But it's because I don't want to upset students, especially when they're trying something new, because it's very difficult to understand. I've been doing this for 7 years and I'm still learning. I can always be better, we can always be better. But when it comes to students, you want to give them an environment that's obviously healthy, stable, and just like give them the ability to be creative and also have a good mentor. All of our freelancers, I all consider them teachers, because I ask them, hey, can this person shadow you, and you teach them everything you know? And they go, of course, 100%. Because they know, like, our purpose is to bring up the students. We want to provide environments. Obviously, we want to work on our craft. That's the biggest thing. But we also want to provide the students who are coming into the university, like we all did, an environment where they can become what we have, or they can obtain and they can get that reference to work for the Angels or the Dodgers. Because that's literally how I got all my gigs, because I just showed up, did my work, was respectful, kind, and they said, hey, you're good at your job, you should work here. Okay, yeah, sure. Hey, you're also good at your job, you should also work here. And then, just because of one reference, it then spreads to a network of different locations, and it's just like, you just don't know how far you can go with just one good reference. It's amazing, It only took me 2 to 3 years to get into the Dodgers, and every year I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep applying. Hopefully this will work this time. And finally, the third year, I get an email back, hey, want to interview you? And I was like, oh, this is great. This is sick. I'm so excited. And the funniest part was, my interview is in 10 minutes. I go outside because it's raining. I go, I'm gonna put a tarp on my bike. I'm gonna put a tarp over it because I want to cover it. And I see my bike is stolen. I was like, oh no.
No.
And so my mind is already shocked. My brand new bike, bought it a month ago. I chained it up and everything. And I come back into the interview, and he goes, hey, how's it going? And I slipped up and I went, my bike was stolen. I was like, oh my God, I just said that. I can't believe I just said that. And he goes, oh, well, you need a job then. And then he hired me.
Oh, that's
Wow.
sick.
So it worked out.
No
But
way.
That's crazy.
immediately I was like, oh, I'm not getting hired. I just ruined this interview.
Slipped up. It's so funny.
But yeah.
So, like, I mean, going from intern to then working at the Dodgers, I know all these incredible jobs, and finding your way back to Long Beach, like, it's just, you have those moments where you just realize that full circle you made, and
Yeah.
it's now educating, like, kind of just, what's that emotion like for you?
Well, someone just asked me that. They said, or they told me, they're like, you were not here for a while, because I obviously started in Long Beach and then other gigs open up.
Mhm.
You have to remove your time from where you began, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the business. You have to go where opportunity is present. And I always knew I would never leave. I had this feeling I'd always come back. I just didn't know how, And so as I was gaining all this experience and different locations, I guess just like when I found out that my people who were running the program were departing and going to a different location, I thought, okay, wait a minute, this might be an opportunity for me, like, to come back, to have all of my ideas that I currently have from all these different locations and bring it to Long Beach in a more focused manner. Because I've always wanted the opportunity to run a program. I said, I want to be in charge. I think this idea came to me about 3 years ago, and I said, okay, my boss, I love his job. I love what he does. I want to do that job. I just don't think, I thought he's never going to leave Long Beach because Long Beach is great. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, the position's open. Like, this might be the opportunity. And I go, no, definitely not. It's not going to happen. There's no way. And an interview passes. I move on to the second round. I go, okay, maybe it is going to happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It might be. And when the final interview came and they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you for the program, it just felt so strange. It was like, it's like I left, but I never left. I was still working part-time every now and then, but my priority was other locations. But to just like come back full-time, all my effort into this university, like, it is home for me. I've lived here for over 7 years. So it's just like, I can't remove myself from Long Beach, and I'm super happy to be a part of it. I'm more focused center, And plus, like, having to work with all my friends again, obviously my coworkers, because they were mission. It's funny, you go from like coworkers to friends, and then now you're the manager. So it's kind of like a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
Because I'm only 25, and most people I work with are older than me, so it's like a weird dynamic, if that makes sense. But in the end, we all understand the purposes. Again, it's like we talked about, to provide an environment for students, make a good broadcast, and just work on our craft.
Yeah.
So.
You obviously direct a lot of people around. Typically, like if we're interviewing coaches, we ask like, "What's a day in your life like?" But you have a very crazy schedule. Could you take us through like a week with multiple broadcasts, or maybe a crazy broadcast you once experienced, or like things that come up?
I mean, this week especially, we have I think 5 in total. So we have Wednesday was baseball against BYU. Yesterday was Cal Poly women's basketball. And then today is baseball versus Washington. So we drive, we have a whole physical broadcast set up. So I have to drive to each location and set up everything from like we're talking cables to cameras, audio, Ethernets to talent. Every single setup is extremely physical. There's not one setup that we have, I guess. Well, we do have infrastructure. I'm not going to say we don't. But having to plug in power, Ethernets, everything for every single broadcast, it's very physical. So I have a certain amount of people that I can trust to help me with that position. My number 2, Daniel Prieto, he's an assistant producer. He was recently just hired in last of August, and he's been a tremendous help. He was a student like myself, and he's been helping me out with a ton. So later, actually after this, I'm going to drive out to Blair with him. We're going to start setting up in 90-degree weather, which is going to be fun. Super excited for that. But for Blair, I have to take Panasonic out to the outfield. If people are interested in like how, I guess, how does a camera get to the truck? This one camera, you have to pumps out SDI, right? You put it into a fiber converter, and then fiber cable patches into a fiber panel from the outfield, and it goes about 300 yards, I don't know how far it is, all the way down through piping up to the press box. And then you plug in a fiber cable to plug into that press box, and you run 200 feet 200 feet all the way to the truck. And so it's just, there's a lot of like parts where one thing could go wrong, and it's very important that it's done right. So that one specific camera, like, we've had great success with it. Obviously no one's messing with it, thankfully, but there's just like a lot of things I have to go through for every position to make sure they're working properly. So that's why we have a set engineer, we have a set director, set producer, graphics, audio, camera, and the call time is 4 hours prior. So if you show up to your position and you say, you do something with your camera, you go, okay, this is not working. Immediately, here's the steps. Go to the engineer, talk to the engineer, work with them, get the situation fixed, and then move on. But if you didn't have that person in place, for example, if I was directing and I'm not engineering and there's no one available, I guess it's kind of like a domino effect, because if you don't fix the problem right away, it'll linger, and then during the game, it's going to cause a negative effect for your career or whatnot. We're very passionate on starting off strong.
Right.
You want to hit the broadcast strong right away, and so far we've been really successful. I haven't really given you a crazy thing. I think the craziest thing for me was I was a student when my old boss put me up in a lift 35 feet in the air for 5 hours.
No.
At Blair. I
Were
remember
you filming?
Yeah, I was outfield camera, and I was out there for like. I went up 40 minutes prior.
You went up?
Up 40
In
minutes
the
prior.
sky?
Up in the sky.
man.
It was a day game too.
No.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this has got to be a 2-hour game. There's no way. And the game was like 3.5 hours
Amazing.
long.
Oh.
Perfect.
I had my friend Corey gave me, I think it was Corey, he gave me this massive sun hat so I can cover my face. And I was completely white with sunscreen and like just like covered up with layers. But it was just like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been up here for 5 hours, But like that's the things that you're gonna run into when you do broadcasting. You're gonna be out in the elements. You think about any show in the rain or snow, they're broadcasting.
Yeah, it's being broadcasted.
Like they're layered up, and it's just it's very humbling. Again, it's very humbling to like experience the elements, But at the same time, it sucks. But it's also very cool because you're like, oh, this is like I'm broadcasting in the rain on my camera in a position like this is something I'll post on my LinkedIn. I don't know, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna go home and tell my mom like, hey, I was out in the rain. She's like, why? What are you doing? Why are you working in the rain? She's like, oh, we have to go live.
Yeah.
We have to go live.
The show goes on.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified. I mean, we can insert that clip of me on the ride.
Oh, yeah. Brandon's afraid of
Yeah, I'm
heights.
so terrified of heights. I'd probably
really?
be shaking there. Were you like afraid at all? Like, was
No, I've never had a fear of heights per se. I think I'm just kind of like in my head. I'm thinking, I'm like, nothing's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Oh
I'm
man,
gonna
like
be
the
okay.
instability of like a lift in my head too. I'm just like,
It was on. I think it was on grass too, so it was little. But it had the like the four
it was
legs.
locked in.
It was
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness,
One thing.
that's so funny.
You know, with the hectic work schedule and everything,
Mhm.
tell us just how, like, in a sense, how you just de-stress, right? You kind of, like, how you manage your life outside of work and just, like, what's that experience like? Can I ask a question too? What do the names Sage and Sailor mean to you in that process?
Aw.
Those are my two cats. Yeah, it's good to have obviously animals at home because they're very almost therapeutic and they're very affectionate. Especially, I never was a cat person, and I was very much a dog person my entire life. And then I met my fiance in the dorms. You know, beachside. Anybody currently lives there?
Aw. Beachside.
So shout out Natalie,
Aw.
currently in Hawaii. Hope you're having a good time.
Oh, dang.
Oh, nice.
Have
Um,
fun, Natalie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, like the biggest thing is don't take your work home.
Mm.
I think everyone says that. Don't take it home because it's hard not to because I'll go home and I'll like this morning I was waking up and I was thinking about like I can make this better because I'm doing this wrong and I'm like wait a minute, stop. Like, you focus when you're at home, you're home. When you're at work, you're at work. You know, and it's very hard to not, again because it's a very fun, creative environment. You know, you're always thinking about new ways. But I think the biggest way to de-stress is be with your friends, be with your family, do things that you're passionate about that are not work related, like it's video games or running or swimming. You know, obviously physical exercise is great. You know, that's one thing to get your mind off of things. But yeah, you know, that's a very important thing.
What do you think? Like, obviously, you speak so highly about Beach Vision and Long Beach in general, but what was some of your favorite experiences in between your time here?
Specifically Long Beach or like other locations?
No,
like,
yeah, like other locations.
Oh.
Like I'm saying, like when after you left and then before you came back, like
Oh,
in that time
yeah.
period, what were some of your favorite like things?
I think well, you go from like collegiate to like professional, and like for example, like let's say you're on camera, you're an RF position at Dodgers, and I got to do a bunch of amazing events last year, specifically in the year before. Like for example, when Shohei Ohtani, because I got hired to the Angels, Shohei was at the Angels, and then he went to the Dodgers, and I got hired the same year. I was like, and I always tell people like, oh no, we're under the same contract. So if I go, he goes.
Yeah,
I'm part of the $700 million deferred.
You're in the fine print.
But no, like you're standing next to these players on the field, you know, and sometimes they communicate with you, sometimes they don't. They obviously they're focused on their job. I'm never gonna like interrupt their process, you know. But oftentimes a player will come up to you and like give you a fist bump or something like that. Or like I remember trying to think of one specifically. This is in 2020 All-Star game. Kershaw was just like, I was just like a showrunner. I was getting Diet Cokes for talent and like driving them places. That's all I was doing.
Yeah,
But I was standing in front of the gate and I hear, excuse me, brother. And I go, who is that? And
that
oh my
sounded
God,
like him
that's
so much.
I'm like that. I was like, who is this? And Kershaw's like writing. I'm like, oh, sorry, Kershaw. He goes, no problem, you're fine. He walks by me and I'm like, oh, that was such a human interaction with like
Clayton Kershaw.
with like people's idol, you know? And like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember, oh my gosh, I'm blanking at this. It was a famous singer who was at Dodgers this year. Super famous.
Like at a game?
Yeah, I'm trying
Oh.
to remember his name. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Watch it be like Jay-Z.
It was not Jay-Z. It was not. I wish it was. But there's just like there's a lot of celebrities also there,
Of
so you
course.
get to interact with them and like put them on camera and stuff like that. It was really cool. Like LeBron James one time was at a Dodger game, so we got to like put him on camera at one point. But like, obviously, I wasn't in the room, but like I was shooting from a distance. I guess like another thing is like the people you also work with at these places. They're very, very, very professional,
Mhm.
and they're also very closely knit. So you know everybody wherever you go. You always know one person, like we were talking about earlier. But like if you work at the NFL, for example, I would do replay for the NFL for their production studio, and I would be in a room like this, but there's no lights and it's pitch black, and there's just monitors and screens. It's like a pit almost, you know. And you're just in there for 8 hours, and you come outside, you're like you arrive at 7 a.m. You know the sun's out, and you leave, and and you're in this room for 7 or 8 hours, and you leave, and the sun's gone. You're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
where am I?
I've time traveled.
I've time traveled
Yeah.
a bit, you know. I can go to more specifics. I'm just trying to think of like all the different experiences I've had, because just like whether it's interacting with players or coaches or fans specifically. Oh my God, I forgot about the fans. The fans at these arenas when you're working are like, they give you so much energy, because they're all so excited, and it makes you excited, but you got to remain professional. You can't socialize. You can't have a conversation. But like half the time I'm sitting there on camera I'll be on the, sitting somewhere and I go, excuse me, how do I do this? How do I become you? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just like on, and then, but in my head, I'm thinking like, oh no, this is such a special thing that most people don't have the opportunity to do. And they go, you get to work every sports game for your team or whatever it is, and you get paid to do it. And you get to watch it and you get to work it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a job to me still. But like to hear them go like, how do I do this? And I go, oh wow, like I forget how like lucky I am to have had these opportunities. In fact, I should be more grateful as much as I already am now. But yeah, just something to think about. It makes me, I guess it makes you feel happy. It makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. Right.
And you spoke about that, like that work environment, being in that dark room. I've like recalled seeing some clips where it's just super fast paced. Like, does the day go by, like every single day go by fast, or is there some that maybe you're like, man, today just felt like slow, or is it always just that constant fast pace?
At Long Beach, a 10-hour day is like that. It depends. I mean, I've had jobs where like I used to do, I tried to do everything. At one point, I worked at hotels for events, working for clients to just like set up like string lights and like projectors and whatnot. And those days felt like forever. I just could not do it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't passionate about it. And I'm not passionate about hotels.
Events.
I'm not passionate about a bunch of companies showing up for their conference meeting. Like it's not for me. It is for some people, but it's not for me. But for like, again, these sporting events, you show up, you have a broadcast. I'm there 6 hours prior. The game is live for 2 to 3 hours, and there's an hour and a half tear down. So I'm there for 10 to 12 hours sometimes. But I show up and then I leave, and I'm like, oh, that was 12 hours.
That's
just
crazy.
like that, nothing. Because again, you care. You got to find something you care about, and the time will fly by. It's already been a year since if December 1st is the 1 year anniversary, and it's February 27th today. It's about a year and year and 3 months. But yeah, year and 3 months of me being full time, and just like that. Like, and I remember exactly how I felt when I was just hired. Scared.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But it's already been a year and 3 months, and we've already done so many amazing things in that time span. So it's like I'm nervous for how quickly the time will go from here on out, because I don't want it to go fast. I want to enjoy what I'm doing, especially. But it's hard for it to not go fast,
Right.
In a sense of like going on vacation. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. You cover a lot of stuff. Like, you guys obviously sports, but you've also done esports coverage. I want to know, like, what is the comparison, or what are the main differences when you kind of set up shop at all these different like arenas, if you will?
Esports, I technically just signed a non-disclosure agreement for, but I think it's fine by now. I don't. It's been a couple years. I'm not gonna go into specific about the event, but I'll tell you like what it took.
Yeah, just to like.
We showed up in a warehouse in LA somewhere in the middle. I've never been before, and there was no air conditioning, which is great, and it was the middle of summer.
Perfect.
So it's just a hot box.
Yeah, perfect.
And the truck unloads, and there's like 150 gaming PCs, just like for every single streamer for this event. And I'm like, holy, like this is serious money. And each gaming chair was like $4,000 or $5,000. It was like, I like was sitting down like, oh, this is a nice game. This makes sense. And I'm like setting them up. And in this warehouse, there were levels and platforms, because there were different countries assigned to each. Like they were like country PC gaming teams, which is super fun. And I remember I was assigned to, I think it was Argentina, if I remember saying that.
Hey,
which is fun.
my parents are from Argentina.
Excellent. So
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, my grandfather's from Argentina.
Oh, cool.
But what's it called? Yeah, just like you set up, and like I set up every like I think like 20 PCs by myself. We're talking mic stands, OBS software downloading, configuring every HDMI input to make sure that the audio from their mic is going into their recording software, and the camera's also going there. And then just like, just being on standby. Like I remember there was a certain drink that was sponsoring the event, and like for some reason, like none of them drank the drinks at the end. It was just like some water company, or it was I think it was like Liquid Death or something. Yeah, Liquid Death.
Liquid Death is great.
Liquid Death is great. And I remember like we were tearing down the events, and there was like 400 like cans of Liquid Death around, and I was like, every time I went to a station, I just drank it because like it was like left over. Like everyone left, and the event was over, and they're tearing down. And they're like, hey, you want this Liquid Death? There's like 300 to 400 bottles lying around. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So I was taking cases with me. I was chugging Liquid Death for 4 hours during the setup or the tear down. But like, yeah, I mean, like just imagine like for you people at home who have a PC, you know, you build it. Just imagine doing that 30 times over a span of 3 days, and then tearing it all down immediately right after that. It's very strange. It's a very strange environment. I'd love to do it again. It was a very great opportunity. Something, you know, good for the resume. And then I didn't even get to, I wish I could have worked with the broadcast truck because they told me their setup, they have 4 or 5 different directors because they got to keep track of every single person's game, like as they're playing, you know. They have to like cut between 4 different directors between 150 different streams. Wow. And they have replay operators who have to recap exactly what happened per important events. So like just like the whole workflow of like having this many producers, because we only have 1 producer, 1 director for us, 6 cameras. They have 150 PCs. That's 150 to 200 plus cameras, not including the host who's sitting off to the side at a whole setup area with different mics. So like it's such a whole different beast, but like they know how to delegate, you know. It's not so much like one person's in charge of everything. It's a bunch of really, really talented people all in charge of one specific thing, and they all working together to get the job done, you know. So imagine if I had, you know, for every 6 cameras I had a director, you know. In a sense, that wouldn't be that complicated to me. So, okay, we'll just duplicate, you know, because like I have the same amount of people per same size broadcast. And I'm assuming it's the same way when you go to like in different locations, any other major broadcast. I know that the Super Bowl has 120, 150 cameras. So I'm assuming there's not one director.
Yeah.
You know, because I know like they have a separate crew who does the halftime show, for example, Bad Bunny. Like you're not gonna have the director who's cutting the game also then switch over and do the Bad Bunny. There's absolutely no way to do both. There's so much brain power that goes involved in it. Like I was directing women's basketball yesterday, and I was shaking off the rust a little bit because it's been a minute. But like you just lock in, you know, and you gotta focus on your cameras and your cutting. And I'm like teaching students how to like frame up properly. I'm like, levels, you're slanted, or you're not right subject, get to the coach, get to the ref, sell. We have this thing where it says you'll always be like my old buddy A-Rod, who used to work at the program, or he still does technically. He goes, I'm always live. I'm never not live, which is such a great mentality when you're on camera, because oftentimes when somebody just like, they put the camera down, they go, you know, I guess on a break right now, which is great. You can obviously take a break, but like, even if the game is going and your subject was already taken, you should find something else. Because there's so many different things you can shoot. You can shoot coaches, you can shoot fans, you can shoot players, you can shoot the shoes of the players. Maybe one player has a cool shoe on and the talent wants to talk about it. Maybe there's a celebrity in the crowd. Maybe the athletic director's here. Maybe there's a cool Long Beach logo. Maybe there's mop action. We call mop action when they're wiping up the sweat, you know? And that's just like one thing, but like, you know, you can just, I guess you will make your mark on your camera if you shoot so much. I think I went off topic, didn't I? Went off a little topic.
No, actually, I actually did want to like ask about that because as from a broadcasting standpoint, like in a sense, you're assisting them with the broadcast, right? Like they're seeing those little details you're putting on the screen for them, where they see something like the shoes, maybe just some fan going crazy on the crowd. Like, what's that like to be able to like assist them?
For our talent specifically, like, we have to feed them content. We have to feed them everything.
Yeah.
Their job is to do their research on the players, because they do an amazing job. Like I couldn't imagine saying the exact same player's name and pronunciation and number correctly, and all the stories they have for every single, like, just think about a play-by-play. They are play-by-play. Every time this person gets the ball, they say their name. And this person gets the ball, pass to this person, and then this person. I would lose my mind. There's just no. I would like number 3 to number 4, number 5.
Number 3 to number 4.
Like I'm ordering a McDonald's menu at that point or something.
Yeah, I know.
You know? But yeah, like when I'm producing, we have our talent channel on our communication system. So I say, I go through all the elements we prepare for myself. You know, if I'm producing, I will go to the record books to get the series history or whatever. I'll go to the Big West website to get stats, to find out who's the biggest leader. Like our last men's basketball game, we had CSUN versus us, and 3 or 4 of their players were the top 1 to 2 in specific positions. Like one was points per game, was top 1. One was rebounds per game. One was assists per game. One was, I think it was field goal percentage, I think, or something like that. But then you look at their record. They're not number one. How do they have the 4 best players in the conference and they're not number one? Well, their defense was 8th for most points allowed, and they were number 1 for offense. So you could tell there was like the offense is there, but the defense wasn't clicking. So we made a full page graphic with all 4 players with their here's number 1 in this, number 2 in this, number 3 in this, number 1 in this. We fed it talent, and they loved it. They were talking about the players for 3 to 4 minutes. And then we showed the stat line for their defense, and it's like, oh, well, here's the reason why. You know, we're presenting. Here's what they're really good at. Here's why they're not in first, though. And then we can show conference standings for the full page, which is just dictating where they are in the rankings. So and again, this is all scripted. I'm building out scripts for every single broadcast. So everything that needs to be done, for example, sponsored elements like conference standings, they're scripted. You have to get to them right away. But in terms of the extra elements, for example, with talent, think of an example. Think of something in the crowd that's interesting to you. Like, what would you think? Like, if you're like there, you're producing, and you see something, go, oh, I want to see that on camera. Give me an example.
Like a sign or something.
Right away, I think
signs are great.
LB the shark that we always see.
LB the shark.
Yeah.
That's we had Chick-fil-A. We had their
Chick-fil-A cow.
The Chick-fil-A cow was there. I would definitely be like.
So I remember, I think it wasn't me. I think it might have been Daniel. He goes, hey, we got the Chick-fil-A cow coming up, and that's all it is. Just press the button, say talent, hey talent, Chick-fil-A cow. That's it. Like that's all it is. And then you hear
Here we got the
cows
Chick-fil-A
here.
cow.
There's the cows here, servicing the good people of Long Beach. That's all it is. It's really just you're just communicating. Just imagine like you having to tell somebody about something that needs to get done, just live. That's it.
Yeah, that's so interesting for me to hear because typically we'll broadcast on radio, but like to hear that like you guys help out with like those stats of like the team leaders and all that. Like it's crazy to hear that you do get like assists from producers. That's really cool.
We have a lot of good people in the communication department who present the stats in like a document form to our talent prior. And they have their interns who bring it over and stuff like that. So like they're presented with the stats automatically from not just myself, from the entire like Long Beach staff. Like, we can talk about broadcasting, but like the crew at the Pyramid who does the changing from, because like you think about it like, oh, we have volleyball to basketball. You have it's called Terraflex. It's the floor. It's kind of like changing from hockey to basketball at crypto.
Right.
They have to remove the Terraflex, which is a large mat, slide it all the way over, bring all the basketball stuff in, raise the bleachers, drop it down. Every single time there's this change, and the work they do with like just getting their pyramid set up so that we can broadcast. Like, I have the utmost respect for all of them. I can't thank them enough for all the hard work they do, and then like all the funny stories they tell me what they've been going on. But it's just like, again, like it's not you think broadcasting. There's so much more going on in that pyramid than just broadcasting. There's so many different groups, people working together. For example, our social media and marketing team, we just started giving them an RF camera for their in-house presence. They've been so now they have their dedicated camera to put on the video board for fans, to service the fans, to give them a separate view. Alan Knipe, who's obviously a legend at Long Beach State University for men's volleyball, he just retired, and they had a whole ceremony for him. And so I was like, all right, well, let's get you that RF, let's get you that camera, so we can see Alan Knipe on the court with the light flashing down on him on the video board. And I took a video with my phone because, like, if this RF was never there, all you would see is Alan Knipe on the floor. But you're way up in the 500s or whatever. I forget the numbers. You can see Alan Knipe, you can't see him because he's his head is the size of a pea. And just seeing his face on the video board with our camera, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it really wasn't that much, like, in terms of like getting it. I guess it's a small thing, just one camera, but it made it look so much better. Yeah. And I hope, obviously the fans never going to realize that. They're like, oh, there's Alan Knipe. But to me, somebody who's doing it, getting it done, it's like a whole different perspective. It's like, oh wow, all this work came in just to get that one camera, and it was so worth it.
Yeah.
Kind of just to wrap things up, want to know if you have any advice to those listening or watching who may be interested in what you do or just broadcast production in general. Advice, tips and tricks, key things, important notes, stuff like that.
I think it's the biggest thing is just like I talk about all the time. Like, you got to be passionate. about what you do. Whether it's broadcasting, I mean, people will join our program and then they'll do something different. They'll do social media or content creation, but they'll be in the realm of the sports world. You just got to find that thing that you care about. That obviously it's rewarding. It gives you a healthy work life, especially because you got to have the balance. You can't just be your job cannot be your life. My job is obviously a big part of my life, but I have so many things going on that I'm passionate about. And having this as well is such a huge bonus for me, because like today I'm gonna go do baseball and I'm very excited about it because it's baseball. Like what's not to like? It's awesome. I'm at Dirtbags and I'm gonna get a hot dog or something there. Who knows? But yeah, I guess just like find that environment where you can try broadcasting, especially get in right away. Even if you're just wrapping cables for the first year, just stick with it because that's what I did. I didn't get an opportunity to be on camera for about 6 to 9 months. I was essentially just utility, just wrapping cables. And once I got that opportunity, then another opportunity opened up, So it's just you gotta stick the course. For those of people who do freelancing, I'm not too sure. Have you guys freelance at all? Do you like work with like third party places, like stuff like that? Is ever
I haven't before, but I'm sure come graduation it's gonna have to be an option.
Obviously there's a lot of freelancing opportunity out there, but it is very, very it's scary not knowing how like for example how's money gonna come in this month because you don't know how many gigs you're gonna get. It's stressful, but like and every month I was thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna get enough work, and then I always did because I showed up to work, I did my time, I was respectful, kind, I did a good job at what I was doing, or I tried to. And because of that, opportunity opened up, and people could see the work that I'm doing, and they wanted to bring me to other locations. So, if you ever feel like you're discouraged, like you think you're not doing enough, or you're not going to get that job from that location, just keep applying, keep trying, and obviously have a fallback plan. Something to rely on, like one specific gig that will give you consistent income. Even if it's not sports broadcasting. Like I did news at Spectrum, but they gave me a bunch of shifts. Frequently per month. And it was news. I wasn't very excited about it. But again, like it was work. It was broadcast. I was in the realm. I was working with good people. It was great. Consistent, yeah. So, yeah. Consistency and health. I don't know. There's a lot of, you can ask anybody in this profession, like what would you recommend for as like, what would you do? Where would you start? And everyone always says start at university. Start at university. It's like find a program that even if it's an intern where you're just volunteering for free, just find that program that has the equipment that you can use, because if you don't have the experience, they're not going to let you touch anything. Like if you don't know how to wrap a cable properly, if you don't do over under, you'll be fired day one. Yeah. Just think of any film set, like where you're not doing what they specifically ask for, they'll fire you right away. They don't care. It's that simple to them. You can't do the job, we'll find someone else. So if you work at an environment where you can make those mistakes, you'll learn from it, and then you can take your knowledge and go somewhere else. You won't be fired.
Exactly.
But yeah, in a sense, not to sound, I guess, sad or like bad about it, like negative, but like if you could work at a university, you work with good people, you'll be able to practice your craft, you'll work through the kinks of what to do and what not to do, and it'll set you up for success.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing. Anything else to say?
I got requested to ask this question. What goes into operating the flag? And what is the flag?
Bruce? Who asked this?
JD. Never tried outside.
every time I see JD at press, he goes, man, that flag waving was excellent. That flag, and for those who don't understand, there is a red hat position, or a TOC. You call it red hat or timeout coordinator. When you're producing, you have to hold the referees and the sideline crew from going. It is a lot of power. It is very weird because you're telling the entire arena you don't get to start yet until I say you're ready to go. Because what we're doing, we're in commercial. We have media timeouts. You're gone for 2 minutes. You come back. Let's say we have a segment, player graphic, highlights, whatever, something interesting. I want to show this graphic, and then I want to come back to game with a comfortable amount of time. I don't want to rush. So I'm telling the timeout coordinator over there. I say, hey, we got 1 minute, 30 seconds, and when they raise the red flag, it signifies we have 15 seconds, so you can go. But sometimes players will come out there early and they're ready to go already. And you have to go, no, we're not done yet. we're not done yet. Please go back. Please go back. And then you see the coaches looking at you, and you're like, oh God. Because like you're not only you're producing, but you're also holding the entire arena from going. So like I always tell people like it's a bit of a power trip, and I feel terrible about it every time, but I know I have to do it because I want to get this segment done properly. And then oh my gosh, I can't. That's such a funny question because like every single time he goes, you weren't out there right from the flag today. Well, who was doing it? I was like, I'm Daniel. I can't do it every time.
Yeah.
I know I'm great at it, but like. But yeah, that's again like that's like something small that no one will ever think about.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. Yeah,
Me neither.
Someone has
that
to
is
do
a lot
it,
of power.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
for coming on. It's really cool to hear about like the intricacies that go behind some of our like favorite things, So we really appreciate that. We do want to shout out Long Beach Current as well. Please go follow us and keep up with us on our socials at LB Current. And of course, you can read our stories at lbcurrent.com. Thank you again to Jacob for coming on, and stay tuned to Beach Vision. Shout out Beach Vision.
For sure.
Thanks again.
See you guys.